As a kid, there were two things I really wanted to do growing up. The first was become a woman, and the second was decimate the forces of hell. My first ever Doom game was Doom 2016, and I didn't really have friends, so my mom got to hear all about it. I didn't really know how old Doom was, so I was surprised to hear she recognized it. She didn't just recognize it though. Like the badass she is, she played the original Doom, the first game that came out in the early 90s. This was really the first time my mom ever told me about her experience playing video games, so that made it really special to me. Since then, I have played a lot of different Doom games. The list of games in the franchise I haven't played is probably a lot shorter than the list of games I have. I even played Mighty Doom for the very short time that it was on the App Store. It meant a lot to me that, like my mom, I was going to grow up playing Doom. Then I saw the trailer for Doom: The Dark Ages, and I knew this was going to be something special. This was exactly the type of dumb fun I was looking for in a Doom game. It's like they took a Renaissance painting of hell and made it into a video game. After seeing gameplay, my anticipation only grew, and then when the game finally released for Game Pass, I picked it up and started playing immediately. Since then, I've played about the first half of The Dark Ages, and to say I enjoyed every moment would actually be a huge understatement. Obviously, the game isn't perfect, but it delivers on its promises. Not only does it look better than previous installments, it plays incredibly well. This might be my favorite experience playing any Doom game ever. It's everything Doom was turned up to 11. So in today's video, I wanted to give you all some of my first impressions playing Doom: The Dark Ages. Now, forewarning, the only spoilers in this video are going to be gameplay spoilers.
Don't spoil it. Do not spoil it.
Gameplay footage in the background was all captured on my Twitch. If I end up using somebody else's footage for any reason, I'll let you know in the top left corner of the screen shown here. And all of the gameplay shown is taken from the first half of the game's campaign. I can really only assume the second half of the game is going to be just as entertaining as the first. If you enjoyed today's video, please let me know by leaving a like and a comment below. And please consider subscribing. Now, without any further ado, let's get right into the video. Doom: The Dark Ages is entirely too much fun. It's incredible how well the devs were able to build on the original games without sacrificing any of their integrity. This doesn't just feel different than previous titles, it feels better, it feels more Doom.
This should send him back a little bit. Boom! Right to the dick, bitch.
Before I get into the actual gameplay and mechanics, I wanted to say that for my time playing the game, it played very well. I was able to hold a stable 60 frames per second on Xbox Series S throughout my entire experience. It even maintained a solid appearance throughout my time playing. Most importantly though, is your ability to rip and tear, and it's never been better. For many devs, the perfect blend between classic gameplay and modern mechanics can be incredibly difficult to achieve. Doom has always been about relentless action, forcing the player to rip and tear through a demonic horde as the forces of hell are butchered helplessly in their attempts to stop you. It's a concept that helped define pop culture in the late 80s and early 90s, introducing some of my favorite franchises including Ash vs. the Evil Dead and Berserk.
See this? This is my boomstick!
Doom isn't just about its themes, though. Almost every installment has been incredibly innovative, not only to the first-person shooter genre, but to all of gaming. The iconic formula for Doom is simple. More action, plus more metal, plus more gore, equals more Doom. It's a formula that never ceases to impress its player base. Doom: The Dark Ages is no real exception. The only difference is this time they replaced the Doomslayer's arsenal with a collection of badass medieval-style weapons. And together they synchronize to disembowel, dismember, and destroy your demonic foes. The Chain Shield is probably one of the coolest weapons I've ever used in a video game. It reminded me a lot of Athena from Borderlands. By the way, Gearbox, please bring back Athena. She had so much character potential. The melee weapons are really fun and combo well with the Chain Shield and other ranged weapons in the game. Using your entire arsenal to build combos against enemies is one of the best parts of the game, which is why I'm happy it plays such an integral role in combat. Combining your weapon attacks properly is crucial toward taking down higher level enemies. Unlike Doom Eternal, which seemed to favor movement above all else, Doom: The Dark Ages focuses more on your ability to parry enemy attacks and position yourself around them. In this sense, it's very similar to a lot of bullet hells. It's still a very fast-paced game, but you can tell it puts a lot of emphasis on weight. Much like the heavy metal soundtrack, the Doomslayer in this game is a powerhouse who shakes and shreds through everything in his path. Every step makes a thump and every leap sends tremors that stagger and kill your foes. This is how you make the player feel like a super soldier. By far, the gunplay in the Dark Ages has been the most fun I've experienced in the game. The mech and dragon portions were also very fun, but I'll admit I preferred the former to the latter. It's simple combat, but they are definitely the best. I found the gameplay to be a little easy in this game compared to previous installments. That's not entirely a bad thing. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the combat is as good as it is. The game also has highly customizable difficulty settings, which can obviously be used to make the game a bit more difficult. Overall, I think that Doom: The Dark Ages might have the best gameplay in the franchise. It's fast, rewarding, and incredibly fun. And despite some minor imperfections, I think this might be some of the best gameplay I've experienced in any game. So, in terms of gameplay and performance, I think Doom: The Dark Ages is well deserving of all its praise. Audio and music has always been a massive staple within the Doom franchise. If a Doom game doesn't have a good soundtrack, it's doomed to fail. And unfortunately, when it comes to music, The Dark Ages was kind of set up to bomb. And it was entirely Bethesda's fault. First of all, I want to point out that the relationship between Bethesda and Mick Gordon was incredibly abusive. If you aren't already familiar with this controversy, Mick Gordon is an incredibly talented musician and composer who worked on Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. He is a highly beloved figure within the Doom community, and rightfully so. When it came time to pay Mick Gordon, however, Bethesda not only underdelivered, but failed to deliver at all. When Mick Gordon tried to voice his concerns, Bethesda took to the internet to slander his name and career. Following this controversy, Mick Gordon obviously didn't want to work with Bethesda ever again. So Bethesda decided to call on Finishing Move to put together a soundtrack for Doom: The Dark Ages. And they actually did a pretty good job. Hell, they did a great job. In fact, the only real issue I had with the music in the Dark Ages was how horribly mixed it was. I swear I got through half the game without noticing the music at all. But when I finally went into settings and turned up that volume, it rang through my ears like a fucking gospel. It's still really disappointing not to have Mick Gordon on this game. Hell, it's more than disappointing. And I know it's unfair for me to judge the game's music based off of somebody we don't have working on the game, but I'm going to anyway. Aside from the music, the in-game audio is fine. I'm personally not a huge audiophile, so I wouldn't be able to tell you how this game sounds in comparison to other first-person shooters. In terms of visuals, The Dark Ages is fucking gorgeous. It's as if the Doomslayer jumped Mario 64 style into a Renaissance painting of hell itself. All of the weapons, all of the demons, all of the environments are incredibly well designed. Each one building on designs from the original Doom games in a way that feels incredibly well crafted. Doom's art has always been heavily based off the works of Geiger, but this game also took a lot of inspiration from Lovecraft, and I think it fits perfectly. Overall, I think the audio and visuals are really well done, but they'd be better with some Mick Gordon. This brings us to the final part of the video where I summarize my first impressions. And I have to say, I am incredibly impressed with this game. In the few days it took me to edit this video, I was able to nearly complete the story. I'm pretty confident the quality isn't going to falter within the last few missions. The gameplay is astoundingly fun. It's fast, heavy, and incredibly rewarding. In my opinion, those are the three things that ultimately define Doom's combat. The weapons and the various ways they synchronize with each other are incredibly fun to play around with. And if you remember to turn up music in your settings, this gameplay is only complemented by the amazing soundtrack. But I found myself using Spotify a lot just to listen to rip and tear. And the visuals are probably the most on brand in the franchise. My only real complaint is the unfortunate lack of content. Aside from the replay value of going back through campaign missions at a higher difficulty, there isn't a lot to do in terms of endgame content. I would love to see a horde or survival mode make its way into one of the future expansion packs for the game. I also noticed that a lot of the glory kills were replaced with just slow motion swinging of your melee weapon. It's not a huge deal, but I did find it happening a lot, to the point where glory kills became almost rare in my gameplay. Aside from those small nitpicks, I think Doom: The Dark Ages might be the most Doom game we've ever gotten. And while I know this probably isn't the last Doom game we'll ever see, I think it's a great way to end this trilogy. And that about wraps it up for my first impressions of Doom: The Dark Ages. If you enjoyed today's video, please let me know by leaving a like and subscribing. We are very, very close to hitting 50 subscribers, and that would be a huge milestone for my channel. Likewise, if you have any thoughts or opinions about Doom: The Dark Ages you would like to share, please let me know by leaving a comment below. I really enjoy reading through what you guys have to say. With all of that being said, I wanted to thank you all for watching. I wish you all a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!